I recently put out a video about JRPGs that disappointed me, where I was a negative Nancy. But today, I am a positive Patty. I gotta keep balance in the world. So today, I'm talking about JRPGs that blew me away, that were amazing, that I had low expectations of, and they just blew me out of the water. But before we get into it, be sure to like and subscribe, and with the power of positivity, I'm sure I will get to 60k subscribers before the year ends. Thank you for your support. Number 10, The First Bias Strikes Again. Not only was this my first Ys game, but my first Falcom game. Ys Memories of Celceta. I don't have the biggest history with Ys, having only played Celceta, Ys 8, and Origin in that order, and I own Oath and Felghana ready to play. I can say Celceta is my favorite thus far. Yes, even topping the beloved Ys 8, which is actually my least favorite thus far. Now, maybe my surprise for how much I like Celceta comes from it being the first, having nothing to compare it to, but I thought it was so charming, especially how it handled the classic amnesia trope. The protagonist, Adol, already had his adventure going from town to town, but does he remember anything of it? No. So he retraces his steps, and it turns out he's impacted each town greatly, and you're learning how so, and how things change since. In addition, Celceta honestly has some incredible lore. With Darklings, a man seen as God influences the world and keeps balance while using an ancient artifact. It's so cool. A common word about Ys is it's not really about the story, and it isn't. The focus is primarily on combat, which I swear feels like a deadly dance. Flash guarding and evading feels so nice as you get bonuses of slowing enemies down or guaranteeing your next attack be a critical. You're constantly switching between characters who are strong against various monster types. Juggling enemies, it's so silky smooth. This battle system contends with Tales of Grace's F for me, for the best action RPG in terms of gameplay. I couldn't believe a game that looked so generic was packed to the brim with fun, flashy, and fantastic combat.
Here I go! Get lost!
Number 9. This popular anthology has a lot of revered titles and some not so much, and some rarely spoken about. And that's why when I played Final Fantasy V with little knowledge, I was taken back by how astoundingly fun it was. First, this is by far the most lighthearted Final Fantasy entry, which was such a welcome change. In a sea of serious, gritty, overly complex story, ginormous worlds, I find a goofy, smaller scale game so valuable. And the tone of Final Fantasy V, jovial, silly, doesn't take itself too seriously despite the sky falling and crystals being shattered left and right. Despite the horrors going on in the world, the characters still have time to laugh and banter, and it's always a great read. Even the side villains, I say in quotations, are so funny and I'm glad became staples in the series. But the story isn't exactly what sells Final Fantasy V for most. It's as they say, it's Bravely Default before Bravely Default was a thing. The mixing and matching of the job class system and snapping the game in two is where it's at, building your characters a certain way to obtain maximum efficiency. Final Fantasy V is only challenging if you have the incorrect setup, but if you don't, bosses fold quickly. Exploration is just as thrilling, finding summons out in the wild, taking on quests, figuring out how to traverse the lands using different means. Final Fantasy V has got it all and is a must-play entry in this legendary anthology. Number 8. I know exactly why this game is here. I play Tales of Zestiria, which is hot dookie. Of course, I didn't want to play any games related to it. I wasn't about to pay a cent to Bandai Namco for another Tales game. It was only because Tales of Berseria was gifted to me, I said fine. And people were claiming that it was amazing, and boy was this one of the sleeper hits of 2017. This was the first Tales of game that I played at the time that had some real grit to it. We play as Velvet Crow, who was done dirty by her brother-in-law Artorias, who's known as this white-clad hero, beloved by the realm's people, while Velvet was turned into a Therian, a demon-eating demon by him and locked away. She has one mission, break free and kill Artorias. She's very one-track minded, but certainly not one note. Seeing her rough exterior crack as she meets new characters, and how this game holds a mirror up to her, oof, it is so good. Let me just stop before I say too much. Her journey is absolutely worth experiencing. Tales of games are largely enjoyable based on their cast, and we got a full cast of rock stars here. My favorite part is, majority of the cast are criminals. Not necessarily good people, but we do get one character who is the goody two-shoes, and essentially is on the side of Artorias. It made for great conflict. Now the combat was fine, a bit on the easier side as Velvet could turn into her Therian form and just dominate. It was unbalanced, but personally, I enjoyed the power trip. Tales of as a series is pretty mediocre, I hate to say, but Tales of Berseria is one of its shining gems. Number 7. This is on the same track of Zestiria and Berseria. I played Legend of Legacy, which was an incredibly bland experience. Then cue Alliance Alive, which consisted of mostly the same team that worked on Legend of Legacy. Director Masataka Matsuda, artist Ryo Hirao, and designer Kyoji Kozumi. Plus, new talent which included the legendary Suikoden creator Yoshitaka Murayama to write scenarios. The biggest complaint many players and myself had with Legend of Legacy was its milquetoast characters and lack of meaningful storytelling. Legend of Legacy at its core was go explore, you find monuments that give you lore of the world, and that was that. Characters had no personality, none. You would think with some of the cool designs they would, but no. Thankfully, the head honchos listened and stepped up to address player grievances and gave us Alliance Alive, a game about humans fighting for their freedom against demons. There are still a lot of gameplay similarities between Legend of Legacy and Alliance Alive. The main improvements were seen in the characters being, actual characters, and great ones at that, with plenty of secret ones too. And Murayama writing scenarios, we got so many meaningful moments and connections. And secondly, more solidified job roles. It still does pull from Saga games, no traditional experience, but based on what you do in combat is reflected in your stats. Also, another I assume Murayama influence was guild building, finding characters of all walks of life to create guilds, which would help you in combat if you were within their scope. Alliance Alive was a massive step up from Legend of Legacy. I was impressed with their ability to take player feedback, implement it, and make something surprisingly special. Number 6. When people say, this is the best game in the series, I get a little skeptical. But they weren't lying when they said SMT4 is the best SMT. It's certainly my favorite. And the reason why this was here was, it didn't connect with me initially, simply because SMT4 is stupid hard in the beginning, largely in part because you have no demons. Usually you're granted a pixie as your first companion, so you have a little party going on. No. SMT4, it's all you. And it's that initial start is what causes some folks to drop. I know I almost did. It was awful. After every battle I was saving because in SMT, anything could happen. But let me assure you, if you can get past the first dungeon area of Naraku, oh my god, you are in for the unexpected, the grit, the mystery of the world. It's so good. All I'm gonna say is, you're Flynn from the Eastern Kingdom of Mikado, which resembles ancient Japan. You're to test your compatibility with this electronic gauntlet, which will allow you to use demons at will, which should already be raising some questions. Ancient city, super technologically advanced gauntlet. Anyways, you're tasked with confronting a mysterious black samurai who's been turning the good people of Mikado into demons, and you have to follow them into the depths of Naraku. The combat is what you'd expect from SMT, the greatest turn-based system known to man, known as the press turn system, has returned, with the added function of Smirk, which increases characters' damage, eliminates their elemental weakness, and gives them a high chance of dodging. Something I highly value that they added were party members. No, not demons, but you're exploring the underground with other samurai, and they can help or hinder you in battle. It was nice not to be alone and have characters discussing things among one another, which ultimately would sway you toward the path of law, or chaos, or neutrality. And if that doesn't convince you, you simply must experience some of composer Ryota Kozuka's finest work. Number 5! Another game that is hailed as one of the greats. And it didn't really hit me until the credits rolled, and I was just sitting on my porch thinking about this masterpiece I just played. Xenoblade Chronicles. I played the original back on the Wii and it left me speechless. And the definitive edition left me the same way. Like, oh my goodness, wow, what a game. Xenoblade Chronicles is a game about seeing the grim future and fighting tooth and nail to change it. You shape your own destiny without the need of divine intervention. It was a very gradual climb of excitement for me. Obviously, the hook was awesome, from the lore of the Titans to the attack of Colony 9, but it kept elevating in its storytelling. The world, the people who inhabit it, the twist, dead ass, this game has my favorite twist in all of gaming. It plays sort of like an MMO with auto-attacking and using positioning skills with a cooldown. The standout feature is being able to see a future lethal attack by an enemy and issue an ally one order that could potentially change the future. A brilliant way to combine story and combat. The combat definitely isn't the selling point, but it's not bad by any means. But the story is so rich and well thought out, it even has one of the best video game villains of all time. The cast of characters are so lovable. Even the mascot character isn't there for purely comedic relief, but has more going for him than just being an adorable ball of fluff. Xenoblade Chronicles is my favorite in the trilogy, and I cannot recommend it enough, as it's one of the greatest JRPGs of all time. Number 4. Believe it or not, I was rather close-minded when it came to games back in the day. If it wasn't weeb or anime coded, I didn't touch it. But this game, my friend insisted that I step out of my comfort zone for, and little did I know that this push would lead me to what is now one of my favorite games of all time, Nier. Full stop, I judged a book by its cover. I was like, ew, realism, ew, it's ugly, ew, not anime. But hey, my friend never steered me wrong before, and my god, was this game amazing. I've played the original, I've played Replicant, I love both. But the story goes you're playing either a father or older brother Nier, who is trying to cure his daughter or sister, Yona, from the Black Scrawl. He finds a magic book, Grimoire Vice, to help him with this task, while meeting a small but tight-knit and unforgettable cast. The story is great. We have a clear goal, which leads us traveling the land, meeting various walks of life, and every arc that isn't the stupid Dream Tree arc is great. I admit, it is padded with side quests. There's a reason why there's a trophy for beating the game in under 15 hours. But the side quests are what arguably fleshes out the world. The game features action combat. Replicant is obviously better than the original. Feels a lot smoother, attacking while using Vice to cast sealed verses. You have a bit of customization with your words, upgrading weapons, which also expands on their story. Always fun, but a grim read. Nier really opened my eyes. Not only is it awful to think that I would have missed out on a beautifully bleak story, but if I didn't give this game a chance, would I have ever been as open-minded about games as I am now? It's so dumb to think that because it wasn't aesthetically my jam, that I wouldn't be touched by it. I was surprised that an outwardly ugly game could pack so much beauty. And you know what else surprised me? That it got a sequel, Nier Automata, which you should also play. Number 3. I was wary of this series, and if it wasn't for Square coming along with pockets full of cash offering me to play this, I don't know if I ever would have played Romancing Saga Revenge of the Seven. But boy, am I glad I did. Saga always had a mixed reputation among the JRPG community, and I think that's what put me off of it. Why play something mixed when I could play something great? Joke's on me, Romancing Saga Revenge of the Seven is great. 7 heroes from long ago banished evil from the land, but they vanished themselves before they could ever revel in victory. Demons are running amok again, and the people cry for their heroes, and they return, but as the 7 fiends. Emperor Leon and his son Gerard and a few of their knights go to slay one of the fiends, resulting in Leon's death. But with succession magic, all of Leon's strength is passed down to his son. The idea is, after conquering every fiend, a massive time skip takes place, and you have to select a new heir who inherits the stats of the previous emperor, and they get stronger with each iteration. As you gotta take on stronger monsters of the land, and the fiends level up too. There is so much to talk about here. You're not meant to go straight for the fiends. There are many side quests to do that impact the world, impact the characters you can get. The order you fight the fiends in can matter. Sometimes you'll fight fiends in Form 1, then 2. Other times it's just straight to Form 2. It's one massive choose your own adventure. What I typically say is imagine a choice-heavy fantasy game like Divinity, but now significantly scale it down and make it anime. Why this game surprised me is characters are borderline non-existent in this game. Choosing your heir is just a husk and a palette swap of other characters. It's not very interesting, me being heavily story and character focused, but that's what's surprising. Despite that, I love Romancing Saga Revenge of the Seven. The combat wasn't bad either, exposing enemy weaknesses and chain attacks. Seeing how my actions shape the world despite controlling a band of husks, I couldn't believe how much I was enjoying the game. What an anomaly for me.
Yes! Never doubt my martial prowess.
Number 2. Nuh-uh-uh. I thought Luigi's Haunted Mansion would be the only horror game I could ever play, but as it turns out, I'm braver than I thought. Parasite Eve. I had no faith in this game. None. It had so many things going against it. It dabbled in sci-fi. It was horror. God knows a baby could crawl faster than Aya could walk. Nah, this game blew me out of the water with its creepy presentation, fantastic villainess, the high stakes, and even the music. You're a rookie cop, Aya Brea, chasing down this genetic monstrosity Eve, who claims to have some relation to you. That's it. The game takes place over 7 days, where you're chasing down this crazy woman exploring, fighting mutated enemies, while slowly regaining memories that connects you with Eve. The combat isn't great, very slow, but the scenario writing and the characters easily allow me to overlook that. The most surprising component to this game, however, was the music done by her excellence, Yoko Shimomura. I truly was under the impression that horror games focus more on ambient music. It would be quiet, faint, haunting, and it's not that Parasite Eve lacks that, but it has some upbeat bops, and always squeezing in motifs of the title theme. Parasite Eve did a great job dispelling some of my preconceived notions I had about horror games, and especially about the music. But you could also create a horrific atmosphere and game without spamming jump scares and using a modest amount of suspense. Number 1. Again, people clamored about this game, and I was like, yeah, okay, I hear you. I'll just play it right quick. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is worth every ounce of hype. I didn't know what to expect, but it wasn't something this amazing. It's very simple. You're collecting stars to open, you guessed it, a 1,000-year door while trying to save Peach. It's the journey for me. The hub area, Rogueport, being this dingy town of crooks and scammers, and it feels rather limiting. But as you go to new areas, Mario learns how to fold and bend, which opens up the hub world. And the new worlds you go to are super fun themselves, my favorite being the Glitz Pit, a tournament arc shrouded in conspiracy, or visiting Twilight Town. No, not that Twilight Town, where townsfolk are turning into pigs each time the bell tolls. It's so silly and enjoyable, the predicaments Mario and company finds themselves in. And you don't only play as Mario either, you get to see what Bowser and Peach are up to. Your party members are great, each with unique field skills, and are very helpful in battle. And I admit the battle does get kinda stale, it's certainly on the easier side, and that's fine. I think there's something to be said about a game where you're having too much fun to notice its flaws, or to even care. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is truly pure, raw, unfiltered fun. I am so grateful for this remake, allowing me to finally play this game that got away from me when it was on the GameCube. I am absolutely now a part of the radical fandom who thinks Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is excellence given form. It's rare to find a game that folks tend to hype up and then the game lives up to that hype, and Paper Mario certainly did for me. And to further expand on that, check out my review of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door and Parasite Eve, both great games that I hope will surprise you. Before you go, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon where you get early access to videos and entry to the Discord. Love your faces, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!